What's going on, guys? Back at you guys with another presentation. In this presentation, guys, I want to talk to you guys about an incident that happened in Michigan. A McDonald's manager was stabbed to death at work by an employee after an argument at a Detroit area restaurant on Thursday, police have said. The victim has been named as Jennifer Harris, a 36-year-old mother of six who had worked at the East Point McDonald's on 9 Mile and Schroeder Avenue for 15 years. Harris had asked the employee to leave following an argument between the pair, police said. The employee went home but then returned with a kitchen knife and stabbed Harris multiple times shortly before 8 a.m., police said. The 26-year-old suspect tried to run out of the restaurant after the attack, but a customer with a gun fired a warning shot and detained the suspect, police said. Police added. Now, this is a crazy story, guys. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about the young lady, 26 years old, got into an altercation with her manager. She ended up stabbing her manager to death. This story right here is a prime example why managers need to be humble. And what the young lady did was wrong. What the young lady did was unforgivable. I heard that the argument between these two was over the manager cutting the young lady's hours, because I watched Nino Brown's review on. I watched his his video where he was giving his thoughts on this story, and he said it was over. The manager cutting this young lady's hours, which is why they got into an argument and the young lady returned back to McDonald's and stabbed their manager to death. Now this is a story. Now this is a story of humility. This is a story of being humble. This is why managers need to humble themselves, because you know what? You got some people out there that's just a little bit crazier than you are. You think you crazy. There's some people out there that's just a little bit more crazy than you are. This young lady, this woman, 36 years old, this manager, lost her life because she was dealing with someone who was mentally unstable. It just go to show you that, this is why I say what I say, guys. You never know who you're dealing with nowadays. And this manager evidently didn't know who she was dealing with. I feel like in this case, of course, what the young lady did to the manager was wrong. I mean, but even if the manager did cut your hours, you don't show back up to work with a knife and stab the manager to death. You don't do nothing like that. I feel this young lady, they say she had some mental issues, this employee. They said that she used to work at a Taco Bell and she did this same thing to someone at the Taco Bell, but she didn't take their life. It's unfortunate that this event took place, but some managers don't know how to manage, and you got a lot of managers who don't know how to talk to their employees. You got some managers who get the big head because they the HNIC, and they feel like they can, exert their authority. But you got some people out there that's a little bit more crazier than you. This is why I say managers need to humble themselves. What this young lady did was wrong. What this employee did, of course, it was wrong. I don't take sides. I don't take sides. With neither one of these. I don't take sides with the young lady who stabbed her manager 15 times. I mean, that's a lot of times to stab somebody. I don't take sides with what this young lady did, but I feel like people need to understand you got to be mindful of how you treat people and how you come across to people. We live in a world now where people don't care how they treat folks. You know, people don't care how they treat people. People are evil. And this is one of the main reasons to why I don't like dealing with people. I like to stay to myself as much as possible. I'm doing my best to be more antisocial. I will talk to people, you know, I'll be cordial, but as far as like dealing with people on a personal level and hanging out, I'm done with that. You know, I don't trust people because you never know what a person got up their sleeve, and you never know what motive an individual may have, because people have all kind of motives. And I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical when a person wants to get close to me. If a person wants to hang out with me, I'm wondering why you want to hang out with me. You know, I'm skeptical when it comes to people. And a lot of people need to be this way. This young lady is going to spend a long time in prison. It's a very unfortunate situation, but I feel a lot of managers need to humble themselves and be mindful of how you come across to your employees, because there's some people out there that's not rap type, that's really crazy for real, and they will end your chapter. What this young lady did is inexcusable. There's no excuse that you could come up with to excuse this kind of behavior. I don't care if the manager was talking to you in a rude kind of way. I don't care if the manager said something to you that you don't like. You don't leave the job and then come back to the job with a knife and stab the supervisor to death. You don't do that. That's out of line. And there's no excuse in the world that you can come up with to excuse this kind of behavior. Mental illness, guys, is on the rise. You got a lot of people that's mentally ill. Look at how expensive everything is. That's enough to make you mentally ill right there. When I saw this young lady's mug shot, I mean, she looked like somebody that was mentally ill. She looked like somebody that isn't rap type. You know, this young lady looked like somebody that didn't have it all in the head. And the fact that she worked at a restaurant, and they say she did this same incident at a restaurant when she used to, at a different restaurant that she used to work at when she worked at Taco Bell. So that you know, if she worked at Taco Bell and she tried to do this same thing, that's a clear indication of mental illness. That's why I say, guys, mental illness is on the rise. It's on the rise. A lot of people who seem normal really effed up in the head. My mother's effed up in the head. You know, I got a lot of relatives that's effed up in the head. This is why I don't deal with relatives either. Like I say, guys, mental illness is on the rise. And this is why you got to be so careful dealing with people. This is why I don't want to deal with people. You know, I never forget back when I was an adolescent, I wanted friends so bad. I'm to a point at 36 years old, I don't want no friends because I don't trust people. Because you never know what's going through a person's head, what's going through that stupid dome of theirs. You never know what's going through their head. And they'll get your life all effed up and get you caught up in some BS. I don't have time for it, not at 36 years old. This is why I avoid dealing with people. I don't want no friends, you know. A person gotta really prove that they loyal in order for me to call them a friend. Like a buddy of mine that I've been talking to since 2017. He has totally proved to me that he is loyal, that he's a real friend. Everybody is not worthy of being called a friend. And I feel like people use that word friend so loosely. Be mindful of who you call a friend. A person got to prove themselves to me. You are guilty until proven innocent. And what this young lady did, stabbed this manager up like this, I mean, it's totally inexcusable, you know. But I feel this needs to be a lesson to managers be mindful of how you manage your employees and be mindful of how you come across, because you don't know who you're dealing with. Like, there are people walking around, you think they normal, they really crazy. They really one step away from spazzing out. And you might do something and you might become an example. Uh, I feel like a lot of managers just need to be mindful of how they come across and how they manage their employees. Just be mindful. You might think you crazy, but somebody else might be a little more crazier than you. They might have a little more crazy DNA in their blood than you. So I feel managers need to be mindful of how they come across to their employees. You got some managers that don't like certain employees. And if you're an employee and you get the impression that your manager don't like you, they got an issue with you, find a different place of employment. It's that simple. Find a different place of employment. You know, if you feel that you're not being respected, you know, if you feel that you're being mistreated, if you feel that the manager feels some kind of way about you, you don't have to stab the manager 15 times. Find a different place of employment. That's how you handle that. You find a different job. You get away from that toxic environment. That's how you deal with that. This young lady didn't have the right mindset to deal with this situation. Even if the manager did cut your hours, you know, you find a different place of employment. That's how you deal with a toxic manager. You know, if you get the impression that your manager, if you get the impression that your manager don't like you or they got an issue with you, you get away from that job. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. And this young lady is gonna spend a long time in prison. She's gonna spend a long time in prison all over a dumb decision that she made, you know, because she allowed her emotions to rule her, you know. And I understand managers can come across in some rude type of ways, and some managers don't know how to manage their employees. But like I said, all this young lady had to do, if she felt that she was being mistreated or done wrong on this job, find a different place of employment. It's that simple. It's that simple. Get away from there. You know, if you feel that the manager is doing you wrong, if you feel that the manager don't like you, all you got to do is find a different place of employment. You don't have to tolerate being mistreated. You don't have to tolerate that. You can go somewhere else. And that's what this young lady should have done. But you guys, make sure you support this channel. Donate to the Cash App, $ Brandon Locke 125. You know, you watch the content, why not support it? You know? I'm just saying. But it's a sad case of events. This manager was a mother of 6 children, lost her life in a very brutal way. Now these 6 children are gonna grow up without a mother. Sad. But what can you say, guys? And this young lady is gonna spend a very long time in prison, you know, all because she allowed her emotions to rule her. But you guys give me your thoughts on this story. I would love your feedback. Make sure you comment, rate, subscribe, leave your comments. We'll gladly want to pick your brain on this. Let me know what you guys think about this story, and I'll be talking to you guys very soon. Make sure you guys have a good evening, happy Monday, and we'll be back with more news very soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have not heard about this story, make sure you look it up. I first heard about this story from Nino Brown. He reviewed it on his channel. This is why I say you never know what's going on with people. I mean, the young lady looked like she was mentally ill in the mug shot, but this is why people need to, you know, people just need to learn how to deal with certain things. You know, people need a class called life skills. They need to have a class in school called life skills to teach people how to effectively deal with certain circumstances. because some people just don't know how to deal with certain cases of events. And this young lady certainly did not know how to deal with this situation. All she had to do, just find another place of employment. But you guys have a good evening. Talk to you soon. Happy Monday.